Hey YouTubers, this is Steve and I'm here to bring you a new video. This is regards to the Escort Legacy shotgun. Recently got this from Big 5 Sports. The beauty of this shotgun is it has got fiber optics front sight and rear sight, and it basically can shoot pretty much anything from a slug to a double-aught buck all the way up to a birdshot. When I initially bought the shotgun, I had some issues with it. I couldn't shoot bird rounds, and I had to look up some of the YouTube forums and also on the internet to find out why it was not clearing bird shots. And then I found out that it was due to basically the piston area and the bolt area not being lubed well enough. And after I lubed up the two areas, the piston area and the bolt area, I was able to cycle all 3 rounds, slugs, double-aught buck, and birdshot. I'm not used to shotguns. This is my first time shooting shotguns, and so when I was shooting the slugs, initially it was really stinged on my shoulder, but after a couple of weeks of going to the range and practicing with it, you get used to this thing, and now I'm used to basically shooting slugs and double-aught buck and bird shots. But the most inexpensive round that you can get is the bird shots from Walmart. You can buy 100 rounds for about 23 bucks if you look for sales in Walmart. Anyhow, I'm gonna next show you a little bit around the shotgun, followed by a breakdown video. Okay, so let's start. If I take this down to the front sight, hopefully it'll pick up the front fiber optic sight. I don't know if it's going to pick it up, but let me try and get it close as possible. That's the front fiber optic sight, the red side. Then if you go backwards, the rear, you have the fiber optic and ghost sights at the back. Both the front and rear have basically wings on the sides to protect the sides from being damaged in any way. This is a nice polymer stock, approximately around 14 inches length of pull. And then we have the charging handle, a big huge charging handle. And I'm going to pause this camera and set up the camera for closer shots, okay? Okay, let's start off now with the disassembly of this shotgun. Before we start, we'll basically make sure that the chamber is clear and empty. There's no rounds. And the safety is basically off, so that safety is on, so basically you cannot fire. What we do is basically start off the front end of the shotgun. I'm trying to make this as complete as possible. We start off the front by removing the front cap. Hold the forearm grip carefully, because when this cap comes off, there's a tendency for both the barrel and the rest of the piece of the shotgun to come out. So I'm going to put the cap down here, and the first thing I'm going to do is basically put my hand here, put this back, put my hand and pull the forearm grip out first. Too bad, I spoke it and it popped open. So taking the forearm grip out, put it aside. Now just move it back so it gets a bit better picture. And let's turn the camera a little bit backwards. Okay, so we have a couple of pieces here. This upper piece here is the barrel, followed, so we're going to take the barrel out, put your finger on the front of the tube that holds the cartridges. So pull the barrel out first, just like lifting this out. Okay, I've already cleaned the shotgun, but I'm just repeating this process for you guys. The next you want to take out is the gas ring. The gas ring is the tiny little rubber band kind of thing over here that basically holds the gas pressure in. Be careful. Do not let this gas ring get damaged by petroleum products because they break easily. This gas ring, okay? This gas ring pretty much goes into the barrel area, the front part of the barrel area, right inside the barrel area here. See if we can get this into right into here. So that's where the gas ring goes. So I'm going to put this aside. Next we have the piston that's in front. The piston only goes in one way. How do you know it's the right way? When you take the barrel back up again, the side that goes into the barrel loop here is basically one way. You try to put it the other way around, it doesn't go into it, it's too big. So you need to put it in only one way, from the small side in, okay? Next, we're going to take out the bolt carriage and the spring. Pretty much that takes it off. But before you do that, you need to pull the charging handle out. To pull the charging handle out, what I recommend is you get this vice grips. You can buy that from Harbor Freight, and sort of put pressure on this so that the springs don't come forward. I tighten the vice grips up right there on the tube. Then I'm going to go back to the, hang on a second, let me loosen this up a little bit more. Okay. I'm basically going back the bolt area here. While this pressure is being held by the vice grips, I'm going to basically put a finger right here to hold the bolt back a little bit. Why I'm doing that is because there's a little notch here that allows this grip to come out. So you have to line up that notch correctly. If you don't, you're not going to pull this out. If you line it correctly, there's a pin in the bottom that goes right into this hole here, and you have to basically line up the bolt by pushing pressure on the bolt, and it lines up over here, right? So this is the charging handle is out. Finally, you have basically the bolt and bolt carriage can be all taken out together. So release the pressure back again. You can take the bolt and the bolt carriage all out together. Okay, the bolt and bolt carriage all out together. And there comes the last piece, the spring. So you pretty much want to lubricate and clean the gun using any kind of CLP, clean, lube and protect. And also the area inside here in the chamber area, clean that up very good. This area needs to be basically lubed really well if you're going to shoot bird shots. So is this area where the piston goes. This piston has to be lubed really well if you want bird shots to cycle through. Okay? This bolt carriage comes in three pieces. You have this forward tube that sits in there. You have the carriage, and you have the bolt. Just remember, the bolt comes in many pieces, so I won't recommend you basically trying to go into further to basically manipulate the bolt. Just clean the bolt up very carefully, make sure the pieces don't come out together. For those of you who are AR shooters, you know what I mean by this bolt area. It has tons of pieces together. Clean it up really well, lube it up very well, but do not dismantle it. And from the side view, let me bring this closer to you guys if I can. Okay, from the side view of this, you can see pretty much, you know, there's an eye. It's a long slot here with a little notch. And what I'm doing is basically, when I have the bolt carriage here, I'm lining up the bolt carriage with this notch that's on the bolt carriage. And pretty much that's how I have to line this up. Okay, if I don't line this up, then you won't be able to pull out the charging handle. So when I'm going to put this back, I bring it up as an angle and let it land. That's the land parallel to the bolt carriage. If you don't have this parallel, if there's any gaps here, it's going to jam inside the chamber. So make sure that when you put the bolt back in, it's basically kept flat There's nothing, there's no angle at all between the bolt and the bolt carriage. Now this piece here, you have the front, the round piece here that goes in here. You just line this up this way. Put this in here and lock it down. So there should be no gaps. So when you look at it from the side, there should be no gaps between this tube and the carriage and the bolt. Okay, they all have to be perfectly in sync. Before you do that, you put the tube, the spring back into the tube. This is the cartridge tube. Okay, that's number one. Next, you put back the bolt carriage and the bolt, all one whole unit. Make sure it goes and sits properly inside the cylinder area. Okay. Next, you bring back this is the piston area, they call it. The piston that basically works back and forth during a semi-automatic firing. Okay. And then finally, we're going to put the vice grips back again, because we need to basically have the back pressure. This vice grips are handy dandy tool to have if you're going to do this by yourself. You know, if you have other people helping you out, it's not an issue, but like me, basically I have to do this all by myself, so I basically try and basically line this up together. So the question you ask is, how much back do you have to basically push this back? How much? As long as the bolt clears the front, you know you're going to push it back enough. Next, you have your charging handle again. Make sure the pin faces downwards. Put your hand on the bolt here and line up the charging handle so it goes back correctly. Okay, it's a pain in the butt, but basically I got it in. So once the charging handle goes in, you're pretty much done. Next, you release the vice grips again. Hold the pressure at it so it doesn't fly off. Put the gas ring back again. Okay, gas ring back again. It's tight and good. Next, we want to basically put the barrel back. Remember that basically the barrel has got a little notch in it. That notch has to line up. This notch here in the front of the barrel has to line up with the bolt. Okay, so when you put the bolt back, keep an eye on for the notch. It lines up with the bolt. If you don't line it up correctly, you're going to have a tough time basically putting this back. Okay, pretty much we're done. I'm going to pull the rifle out. Sorry, I'm out of focus. Okay. What I did just now is just push the barrel tight back in so that this barrel comes out quite easily. So you have to basically press it back in so there's no silver you can see on. If you can see any part of the silver from the barrel, then you know basically you're not pushing it back in. So holding the barrel in, now you're going to put the four grips again. Lift this up a bit more. Sorry, I have to do it off focus. Okay. Now everything's back in. Basically go ahead and thread the cap back in again and tighten it up. Okay, pretty much you're done. The end of the project, make sure that very carefully, let me move the camera a little bit closer, sorry. Okay, right at this area here, make sure there's no gaps. That means there's no sight out shotgun of stainless steel, number one. Number two, this cover here, the forend cover, needs to be basically perfectly flush. There's no gaps here because putting this back carefully. Hopefully this helps you basically disassemble your Escort shotgun.